I'm diving straight into today's video, sharing my favourite and what I think the best Farrow and Ball white colours that are perfect for any room, no matter the orientation. I'm going to be sharing some of the best ones for north facing rooms and for those sunny south facing rooms as well. And I am in my brand new bathroom that I have not even shared yet across YouTube, and it's one Farrow and Ball colour which I absolutely love, so excuse the plastic in the doorway because the rest of the house is a tip. It's a building site still, but I really wanted to share this video with you today because having used both Dulux and Farrow and Ball whites, Farrow and Ball just wins for me every time. They have so many more pigmented shades. Not all of them are riddled with a really deep yellow undertone, so you can still get some really warm white colours. I just love them. They are a lot more expensive when you compare them to brands like Dulux, but you do get slightly more coverage, and sometimes you don't even need to paint 2 coats with their colours. Really love them. So let's get straight into the video, and I'm gonna kick it off with some whites that are perfect for sunny south facing rooms. So my bathroom is super sunny south facing. We've got a coastal theme going on. I wanted a white in the space around the tiles, but I didn't want one that was really warm because the bathroom gets a lot of light during the day. I wanted something that was quite subdued and really subtle, and the colour that I've gone for is Wevet. Now Wevet just stuck out to me because when I pick cool colours for a south facing room, you want something that isn't yellow based, not red based, and not pink based. So typically you might choose to go for something that's grey based or blue based. Now Wevet has a slight grey undertone to it, like really slight. It's super understated, and it's so soft. You can walk into the room, you know it's not a brilliant or a pure white. It's just got this subtleness to it. It really lends itself to really soft and laid back colour. When the sun shines in, it balances the intensity of it. I absolutely love the colour. It makes me feel really calm, and you just don't get that with a bright white. Quality for me, we only had to use 1 coat. I absolutely love it. I think if you've got a south facing bathroom, Wevet is amazing. There are obviously others that with slightly darker tones to them, but Wevet is great. It's not overtly grey. It really doesn't feel grey to me at all. Just very soft in the space. And I absolutely love it. Obviously it might come up a little bit different on the screen you're watching this on, so do get a tester beforehand. Would really recommend that. But yeah, really love it for a south facing. So let's go to the next one. When I was looking for a white for a bathroom that was very sunny south facing, another colour that came up and I really like, and I'm going to mention, is Blackened. Now Blackened has a slightly greyer undertone to it, and one of the colours we've got in this room as well, which you'll see when I do my bathroom reveal, is actually Palmer Grey. Now Palmer Grey is a really beautiful, like coastal baby blue, and Blackened was actually one of the colours that Farrow and Ball recommended pairing with it. For me, it's a little bit too grey for what I wanted to achieve, but if you want a white that's slightly more grey in tone, it's so good for a south-facing room, whether it's a bathroom or a bedroom. It's just the subtleness that comes with it. I would try and avoid using these colours that I'm mentioning for north-facing rooms because of their grey undertones. It's going to make a dark space with very little light feel even darker. Now another one I'm going to mention that actually you can kind of get away with this in any orientation of room is Slipper Satin. Now Slipper Satin has both a grey and a green undertone to it, so it's so much more forgiving in different light conditions. It's got that grey that gives it a little bit of coolness, but green tones are typically warm in nature. I love Slipper Satin. It's a really sophisticated colour. It's still really delicate, and I think for a south-facing room it's just a perfect white if you're looking for something that's warm but also not overtly yellow in tone. I'm going to move on to some shades now that are great for north-facing spaces, but again, you really can use any colour white you want in a sunny south-facing bathroom. However, I try to always guide using with a grey undertone or something that's going to balance the intensity of the sun. So first and foremost, you need to understand how you use your room. If you're using it all day and it's super sunny, you need something to balance the intensity. If it's a room you might only use in the morning or the evening, you can kind of go to lean into the colours that are suitable for that time of the day. But yeah, these colours I'm about to mention now, great for north facing or very cold or even very dark hallways because they'll add that warmth. But if you did want to use them in a south facing space as well, of course they're going to really work well as well. Now if you're looking for something that's close to a bright white, but it's not a bright white. The closest you're going to get that's got a warm undertone is Pointing. Pointing is red based, and I think if you don't like magnolia or cream shades, look for whites that have a red, pink or even green based undertone, because they are not going to give you that sickly magnolia tone. And actually, to be honest, Farrow and Balls don't have that telltale magnolia colour, but red based is, I personally prefer red based. Pointing is the closest you're going to get to a bright white, but it's not bright white. You're going to get that warmth that you get from red. It still creates a cozy space, and Pointing, whilst it works really well with obviously other reds and pinks, it's white at the end of the day, so it's so super versatile, pairs with pretty much everything. If you want to brighten a really dark hallway, Pointing is a great colour to use. I would just make sure you are incorporating colours in other areas, just to bring some added warmth into the space. Now, if you're looking for another gorgeous white, it's not really got too much depth to it, but it is warm, I would go for Wimborne White. Now, I think Wimborne White is one of the most popular whites from Farrow and Ball because it's just got a really slight yellow undertone to it. It looks off-white, but it definitely isn't a brilliant white, so it's perfect for those cold north-facing rooms. It's going to counteract any blue light that comes into the space, and it's just so easy to work with as a colour. Now, Dimity is another that I absolutely love. It's classed as a warm neutral. It's got a red-based undertone to it. Again, it's not a true white. It's classed as a pale taupe, and I just think it's such a beautiful colour. I think when you are picking whites, there are hundreds of different whites on the market, and some of them might not look like a white to you. That's probably because you're trying to compare it to a bright white. Now, Dimity is just amazing for adding that warmth to a space. It's not got a yellow undertone. It's great for almost any room, no matter the orientation. Now, the last one I'm going to mention, White Tie, is another beautiful white shade. It's got some soft yellow undertones to it. It's classed as one of the prettiest Farrow and Ball whites. It's got a tiny bit of black pigment to it, which really deepens the shade. Brilliant for a north-facing space, or if you've got a really open plan room that flows from like a dining room into a kitchen, it's gorgeous for bringing in some warmth. But honestly, those are just some of the best shades that I think for whites, and there is so many based on what you're looking for and what colours you're trying to introduce into your space. But generally speaking, look for those undertones to the whites, and that will guide you with your space. I've got lots of videos on planning for north-facing spaces, south-facing, west and east, which I'll link in the caption below. And it's just looking for those undertones. So if it is a south-facing, look for grey undertones or blue or even green. And in north-facing spaces, look for the yellow, red, pink and green, depending on what kind of overall finish you want to look. Farrow and Ball colour chart, absolutely 100% recommend getting if you haven't already. There is so many whites to look at. It just gives you an indication of what colour undertones they have, and whatever their undertones are, they're all placed together for ease. So for example, warm neutrals, we mentioned Pointing, these all are red based neutrals, so you can really see how they feel in the space. And then I would always recommend getting at least 2 testers of colours you like. Test them on an A4 sheet of paper, put it in the room and move it around the space. The key point to doing this is so you can see how the colour paint looks in different lights throughout the room. If you've got a north facing room, you might have some spaces that are super dark, whilst other parts might actually benefit from a little light at certain times of the day. But if you're looking for a really cool colour like Wevet, I can vouch for the fact that it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it in our bathroom. So soft and subtle, it's just perfect. It's super calming and really happy. But I hope you found today's video useful. If there's any other specific colours you're looking for, anything I've not mentioned, please feel free to leave me a comment below, as I always come back to my comments straight away. Other than that, if you enjoyed watching today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel, as it really does help. Other than that, please have a great day, and I'll see you on my next video.